lock in now, laser focus.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Locked In, a special episode, a 1-year anniversary when we started Locked In. Not in the studio we started in, but we're still going. My name is Megan Holden.
And I'm Sam Rodriguez.
Here we have the latest and hottest NFL and NBA debates and latest news. Today we got a special episode for you guys. Besides the anniversary, we'll be talking about the NFL draft. There's been some recent trades. There's been some rumors. Also, they had their pro days, so that's affecting the stock. So we're going to give you a sneak peek on our NFL mock draft and talk about the recent rumors. And we're also going to be talking about the NBA trade deadline. Now we had time to adjust, and we kind of evaluated each move. We're going to give you our winners and losers and some things that didn't happen yet that we expect to happen next offseason. But Sam, first I want to say happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year. We made it.
It's been a crazy year. So to start off, I want to talk about our takes. Actually, I know we talked about doing the trade deadline first, but I actually want to talk about our takes. So, think about this past year. First off, what has been your favorite show so far? Would you say?
I'm honestly gonna have to go to our first one where we were able to actually use the studio and use all the equipment. Because after that, it was like, all right, now I gotta buy a mic. I gotta figure all this stuff out. I gotta find a new spot in my house to go. I feel like that was the favorite. Cause we were actually there. Yeah. And we're able to actually be in silence. Now I'm at my house where I got to tell my mom, keep quiet, keep the boys quiet, lock the dog up. You know what I mean?
I definitely hear that. I think also it had a different feel to it, right? Even though it was a smaller studio, but it really felt like, you're doing a professional. It has a different feel to it than it's at home. But we made it work. I definitely see it's definitely been a ride. I say my favorite show has actually been the ones we did recently. I like the one with Rashad Butler, former NFL tackle. I thought he provided great insight. It was also great debates. And gave us some great NFL stories, some funny one with J.J. Watt, if you want to check that out. Also, Samaki Walker was also great. He gave us some funny Lakers stories when his time with the NBA championship with the Lakers. And also, I think former NBA coach Scott Fields, we batted it out for NBA awards. I thought that was a great debate from us and from him. So we had a lot. I think we had a lot of great shows. And I'm happy with it. Nice to reflect on. So what would you say now with that? What do you think would be my best take so far what would you think was most spot on take?
I'm going to be honest. I think this is kind of biased on my point, but when you said Brad has to go, I think it's time for Brad to go. I wasn't expecting that from you. I wasn't. And you see it now. They're talking about it. Everyone's talking about Brad got to go after the season. Brad got to go. I think it's time. I think you were spot on with that one.
That's fair. I didn't say exactly how to go, but I said it's time that he's on a hot seat as far as he needs to either improve or it's time to move on because he's been having the same issues now since he came in with lineups, calling timeouts, and now there's questions is if he can coach young stars. But definitely, I had to say for you, you've been spot on recently. You've been predicting the Sammy Watkins thing. I was like, there's no. Why would they want Sammy Watkins when it is top wide receivers out there and he needed a wide receiver? And they started to say, I'm like, okay, Sam, you might know something. Who's your contacts?
But, luck. So, that's what it is. Luck.
No, but you called it. I think that it is a good fit. But I think your best take was definitely the Aaron Rodgers take last season when you said that Aaron Rodgers probably gonna have his come back and probably be one of the top QBs. He has a huge chip on his shoulder. I thought, given that he didn't have, the wide receivers outside of obviously Devontae Adams, and at the new offensive coordinator was a run-first coordinator, I was like, oh no, they're gonna run the ball more. But he came back and had an MVP type season, so that is, I think, probably the most spot-on take.
No, I knew that was gonna happen. Just because drafting Jordan Love, I knew that was gonna get him mad, and it happened.
So the biggest reach, or the take that I think there's gonna be a few for me that didn't work out as planned, especially recently one of the Jeff Teague thing and the Cam thing.
Yeah.
So I'll say mine. I think there was two that stood out to me. I'll sleep on the Heat. You said I'll take a nap on the Heat, and then he went to the NBA Finals. I think to get fair, no one expected the Heat. I don't think the Heat really. Well, the Heat expected because Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler. He's always been confident. But a lot of people did not expect the Heat to make the run they did. I didn't expect them to go to the finals, but I think they're definitely a hot team. But they can't ride the same wave this year. Another one is Lamar can't throw. I'm sick of the whole you don't think Lamar can throw. Lamar's accurate, can be accurate. He just has some mechanical issues here and there, but he can still throw it. I just think his problem is the offensive coordinator and the wide receivers around him not giving the best support. But what about you? What's your take on that? And what do you think is the biggest, failed take I had so far?
Well, I mean, now he has Sammy Watkins, so it's time to put up or shut up. And he can't say that wide receiver thing. Yeah, but he's still better than Hollywood Brown.
The first game is gonna go. He's gonna go off, but I'm gonna see what happens after.
Like Jeff Teague, like Jeff Teague.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's too soon.
And that's gonna be your worst take.
Okay.
Jeff Teague
For 6th man of the year. It was a reaction thing. I was in the spur of the moment. Okay, he had a great first game, and he was pretty good the season before. I don't know what's up for the Celtics. I think he was. They have a curse. They can't have shooters. It's like as soon as they sign a shooter, they drafted Neesmith, great shooter in college. Comes to the Celtics, he can't shoot for nothing. Same thing with we have James Young. They have great shooters in college. They draft them, they can't shoot. The Celtics are cursed. There's something going on, either with their development or they just have something on them.
Yeah, this is why no one wants to go there now. No one wants to go there. You go there and your career is going down.
Well, for shooting percentage. Now I also want to talk about. Given that we're 1 year in, do you have any advice for upcoming podcasters? I want to say congratulations to you. You recently on in a magazine. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and then your advice to future podcasters?
Yeah. So about that, like someone I guess I was nominated of some sort. I was checking my email one day and it was like, oh, we need to interview you. You were nominated. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was just kind of a cool little process. Like they emailed a bunch of questions. You can tell your story. I got to talk about Locked In, how you and me started and how it's going. I think it's like a good way to get out there. So it felt really nice to get on there. And like for podcasters, just keep going. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we had the worst luck of all this year, starting in the studio one day and then just never going back again.
The next week, we about to ready to go and they text us saying, no, it's closed down.
Yeah. And like we got to figure out how to order mics, how to figure out where to go. I feel like you just got to keep going. You can't stop on that.
And you got luck. Your first mic worked. It took me two type of statements to get this right. But yeah, I would definitely say keep going. I think this year it's been definitely a ride. I think we made great connections for it.
Oh yeah.
We made progress. We both got job internships out of this. You're working. You're NFL Combine, not Combine. NFL Pro Days. Yep. You're doing interviews. You did interviews for Super Bowl post game. You got your internships. You got LA. You can also cover the LA Dodgers. I got an internship with a big network that covers Boston sports, CLNS. So it definitely leads to things. I would just say for future podcasters, if you're going into it, know if you want it for a hobby or a job, because how much you put in is how much you're going to get out of it. And it can be like another part-time job. And don't get discouraged. It takes time. Make sure you do your homework before, even if you know it, do your homework before each show.
Exactly. And you got to keep going. Mm-hmm. You can't do it one week and then stop for a month. You got to consistently go and grow that fan base. Because once you get that fan base, if you start stopping, they're not going to want it. Mm-hmm. They're going to be, all right, well, I forgot this was a thing. Even every other week, as long as you're putting something out and putting out stuff throughout the week, even a debate we started doing, our debate started taking off, hitting like, you posted one, I want to say Gary Payton, it was like 180,000 views.
Yeah, crazy.
Like 70,000 shares and likes. Like,
yeah, it was crazy.
Even stuff like that, just keeping the fans engaged and building your own platform's key. And then connections, like Megan said, LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn. Everyone on there. You meet everyone on there. It's great. You need to.
Sam should have a blue check mark for LinkedIn.
I'm working on it.
But now go to our debates. Our first debate today, we want to talk about the NBA trade deadline, the winners and losers. So, Sam, who do you have as your winners for the NBA trade deadline?
I'm going to have to go with the Nuggets.
Okay.
The Nuggets.
So, they got Aaron Gordon. For the minor, they got Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
For Gary Harris and RJ Payton and a 2025 protected first round pick. I
feel like that's a great spot for him. You see him, he's thriving over there right now in the past couple of games. Mm-hmm. That's a great fit. It gives them another piece to use over there because they're a young up and coming team. You got Michael Porter Jr. You got Bol they're using now on the bench. You still got Jamal Murray. You got the Joker. Putting Aaron Gordon at that 4 spot, that fills a hole they needed. Because now it's not just Joker in the paint. You got Gordon in the paint come in. You saw he's wearing number 50 now because that's his dunk score he should have got. Like, he's looking good over there. And, like, the thing is with that trade, even the Magic won. Like, both teams won that trade. It wasn't a more winner or loser because now the Magic got a solid backcourt in the future with Markelle Fultz and RJ Hampton.
Yeah, RJ Hampton. I'm about to say because Gary is getting up there in age a little bit, so I don't think that fits their timeline. And he's a good perimeter, but because of the injury, he has taken a step down for shooting. But
adding RJ Hampton over there with Markelle Fultz in a couple of years, that could develop to be a great backcourt. And they have a lot of picks. They have so many picks they can use. I think they're an up and coming team, and it was time to kind of clean house.
Okay, so my rebuttal to that, I think the Magic waited too long because I think if they did this, I would say a season or two ago when Aaron Gordon, remember when he came out, he was having like people talking about All-Star year. If they would have traded during that year, I think they would have got more. But given that he wanted out, I didn't feel like they got that much of a turn for him. Like I said, Gary Harris, he's not the shooter. He's not really a shooter. He never really developed as a shooter, especially with that hip injury. He's been going down. He's a great perimeter defender, but he's not really there at age. You got a 2025 protected first round pick, and then also you got RJ Hampton, who could be really good, but right now he's kind of a role player. So it's a lot of it's a definitely risky if you trade. But I mean, you weren't really getting much. That's the best thing you got for Aaron Gordon in your best package.
Yeah.
Also, you traded I can't ever say his last name, but Nikola
Vucevic.
Vucevic, yeah. I thought Wendell Carter. They compared him to Al Horford in the draft. He hasn't really shown it yet, but he does have potential. Then you got Otto Potter, who's probably gonna buy out, and you got 2 firsts. I just think you waited too long. And same thing with what I'm gonna talk about later with my losers. I just think they waited too long and didn't get the best return. But I agree, the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon is huge because it gives them. When it comes to the playoffs, you need stars. And Aaron Gordon, I don't think he is a main star, but he's on the borderline. I feel like of an all-star player.
Yep.
And he doesn't have to be the main guy. He struggles being the first guy, but now you have Murray there. You have the Joker who's on an MVP type season, and you have surrounding pieces where it's not the pressure of being number one guy. And the Denver Nuggets didn't need someone coming in and wanting to be number one guy. So I feel like it fits best sides because he doesn't have to be the star. But what he brings is important to the team because he brings versatile defense, right? Nuggets need a defense and they need someone who can switch because that's what they've been trying to do with switches. Now they lose a little bit perimeter defense with Gary Harris, but Aaron Gordon has covered guards as well. He's top 10 in versatile defender, and I feel like he makes great plays for the team. He's a team player. He's great at setting up guys. He's great at screen, and he's also a great driver. You have Joker who can space the floor. You have Murray that can space the floor. So I think it's a great fit. Are you worried though? I want to know, as a Lakers fan, the Suns are. I told you the sun is rising in Phoenix, pun intended. And then you have the Clippers who look a little better than last season. And then you have the Jazz who's been consistent. Everybody's been waiting for them to, fall off that cliff, but they've been consistent. Now the Nuggets made that trade. Where do your Lakers stand?
So I'm not really worried per se, as long as LeBron and AD come back the way they were before. If they come back the way they were before, adding Andre Drummond's going to help keep AD healthy because AD doesn't have to play that 5 spot, which he's not built for that. He's as big as he is, he's not built for that 5 spot.
Okay.
Adding Andre Drummond down there is going to be great. But like you said, the Nuggets are stacked now. Aaron Gordon, I think that will put them as a bigger contender than they were last year or even a couple games ago before they even got him. The Clippers getting Rondo, that whole West stacked up, and DeMarcus Cousins, that whole West stacked up. It's just a matter of matchups in the playoffs. Yeah. That's what it's going to come down to, who plays who. Because there's so many teams that can beat certain teams, but like others that can't. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain that, but it's going to be based off matchups. Because you put the Jazz against the Lakers are going to win that with a healthy AD and healthy LeBron. No matter how good the Jazz are playing, because it's Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. Who's going to stop LeBron? Who's going to stop AD? But you put them against that Nuggets team or that Clippers team, that's a different story. Because that's going to be scary. That's going to be a battle back and forth, the Lakers versus the Clippers or Lakers versus the Nuggets.
Well, the Jazz do have Rudy Gobert, but he doesn't bring what AD brings offensively.
Yeah, exactly.
My biggest thing is how the Lakers are going to come back when they are fully healthy and how that look like. I think now the teams are getting tough. The West is getting tougher. I don't know. I think you should be a little worried, but we're definitely going to see. My winner, I think I'm just going to go a different direction here. I'm going to go Blazers. Getting Powell for Gary Trent and Hood. They didn't really give much. I know Gary Trent has been coming out this season, but I feel like Powell is more consistent and more of a sure thing. It brings a little bit better defensively. He's not really known as a defender, but his size, he can bring a little bit more defensively what the Blazers need. But they added a guy another capable of, having big nights, because especially with the season they had with dealing with injuries with CJ and Nurkic, Dame had to carry the load, and I feel like he's a sleeper again, another season for MVP. But this way, they have another guy. Their starting five is kind of sneaky. It's Dame, CJ, Powell, Covington, and Nurkic. That's a really good starting five. If Melo can get back to, he had a bad last game, but if he can get back to being more consistent, that's a great 6-man roster right there. So I feel like they can be another sneaky team coming up. I think that definitely pushes them up. They could be possibly top 5 team in the West. Now, losers. Who's your loser?
The Rockets.
Okay, that's
the Rockets.
I don't disagree, but can you explain why?
Because they had to get rid of Oladipo. He wasn't going to stay there, but they got nothing in return for him. Like, absolutely nothing. Avery Bradley, I feel like he's going to be bought out in Houston. He wasn't really playing like he was over there in Miami. Like, he would play last year with the Lakers.
Yeah,
and they could have got so much more for Oladipo. They could have got so much more.
Not really, though, because he was basically saying he's going to Miami next. Like, there was rumors out there, like he was leaving. Like, they wouldn't get nothing for him either way.
What I'm saying is they still should have held on to him and worked more. I feel like they kind of gave in to Pat Riley, because Pat Riley is a great basketball mind. Mm-hmm. The way he played the Rockets, it was a joke. And then they shouldn't have got they just that was stupid on my part. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have got at least a couple draft picks.
Their fail, though, was not that trade. Their fail was a James Harden trade. Because Victor was the biggest prize there, and he didn't even want to be there. And he's not the same player. I know the name is impressive, but he hasn't even had a really full season since 2017, or he's been hurt past couple seasons. He took a step back defensively because he had to be more offensive piece. And he's never really been a 3-point shooter. He's more of a drive guy. So, I mean, he does fit the style of Miami Heat, but I don't think it's as big as the name, if that makes sense.
No.
But as far as I think the way they messed up is the Harden trade. They kept him too long, and then they kept the package that they wanted or they deserved for that type of caliber player. And James Harden was already out, so they didn't really have much of a choice. My loser, I'm gonna go to another team that is holding on too long, Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry, I know he's gonna be. It makes sense because they traded Powell, so why not just go full? But you're outside of the play-in tournament right now, number 11. I know you just had that crazy game against Golden State, but still, outside the play-in tournament, and you're saying, like, I get the whole he wants to be there, he wants to retire as with the Raptors, and it's a great story, but that's not going to get you nowhere. Like, you're not in a position, especially since you see Kawhi left, and this is what the team was. They were never really a championship team. Now they have less players. Siakam still hasn't taken that step, and you're not a championship caliber team. So what are you doing? You're just dragging it out. And Lowry's not getting any younger. He's unrestricted free agent this season. So are you going to give him a big contract to just keep dragging this out and lock you up for cap space? I feel like you should have. I think there's a lot of playoff teams that wanted him, especially like we heard the 76ers, Miami Heat, that would have gave you something, gave you at least one building block, to go off of. Now you're either going to let him go for nothing or you're going to cap yourself. So I think this is another instance where a team is holding on too long, and they're going to end up regretting it in the end. Yeah,
my rebuttal on that, they asked for way too much for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Way too much from everything. You saw what they asked the Lakers for? They asked for KCP, Wesley Matthews, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and then Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder is what it made me because added on to all that. But honestly, with the trades, if I was the Lakers, I would have done it because I feel like at the end of the day, you're getting the best player.
No, but I think they'd be giving too much because their depth. They lose all that depth.
But they're getting guys on the buyout market. It's either Nets or Lakers everybody's going to.
Yeah, but they only got Andre Drummond. That's all they got.
Yeah, no, but
they have one roster spot available right now.
Yeah, but if you done that trade, you would have more roster spots available. And there's going to be more guys bought out, like Avery Bradley, Otto Porter. But go ahead.
If that trade would have been without Dennis Schroeder, okay. Mm-hmm. But adding Dennis Schroeder in that's just guard depth you're losing because you're losing him, THT, and KCP, and Wesley Matthews.
Yeah.
So that's 4 guards right there. Who do you have left? You have Alex Caruso. That's about it.
Yeah.
And the buyout market, there's not many good guards that we know for sure are going to get bought out. Like Avery Bradley, you said maybe one of them. I'm hoping he's one of them because so many teams could use him. So many teams. And he's not going to be used over there in Houston. It's a waste.
Lakers fans all over it. I agree with that. So I definitely agree with that. So I think actually also I'll mention real quick a sneaky move is actually the Clippers getting Rondo.
Yeah.
Now I know they're number 8 in assists per game, but they really had no ball mover. Paul George is the top with assists, and he only had like 5 assists a game. So I think that getting Rondo was huge for them, especially playoff Rondo is real.
Yeah.
And he does in fact winning. I know he wasn't doing good in Atlanta. He wasn't getting much minutes, and he didn't really fit that system. Where I think with the Clippers he'd be much better. He fits and the timing. The wait and see. I got to go with the Bulls because getting Nikola. I can never say his name. he needs a nickname. I need to give him a nickname. But he's a great player. You say he's playing great, but he doesn't fit your timeline. The man's 30 years old. You're not a contending team. I get you want Zach LaVine to say you want to show something, but you still don't have enough. Zach LaVine's not a number 1 star. Paying up Nikola is not going to do enough to get you over. I know you're playing seed right now, but you're still you're number 10? You're number 10. You're borderline in that playing spot. So I don't think he fits your timeline, and you give up a young prospect for him. So that's where I stand with that. Now I'm gonna go to the NFL draft. So I want to get your quick thoughts of the recent moves. So we had the 49ers trade 12, the third round 2021 pick, 2022, 2023 first for number 3 spot. Miami traded 12, 4th, and 22 first. They split that 12 for the Eagles 6, and the Eagles move back. For me, it says that Eagles are not taking a QB in the first. I think they trust Hurts, which I think is a great move. We talked about it last offseason.
Real quick, Megan, I'm going to run and grab my charger real quick because my laptop's about to die. So just keep it going. I'll be right back.
I was in that position last time, so you're good. So I think, Eagles are not taking a QB in the first. I think they trust Hurts enough. Maybe they take one later, bring in a vet, to back him up. But I think we mentioned in another podcast, Jalen Hurts was one of the best QBs in last draft. He's a winner. He had 2 really good games, 2 games. I know it was a roller coaster, but I think he definitely showed potential. I think Miami, there's rumors that they're going for a wide receiver. We'll see if they try to pay up Tua with a former wideout, with Devontae or Waddle. There's also rumors about Pitts. So I can see them get another target. I know they brought in Fuller, but Fuller's already starting a 1-game suspension, and he can never play the full season. And 49ers are expected to take a QB of the future. They're holding on to the Jimmy Garoppolo, not trading Jimmy Garoppolo takes. I expect them to use him as a bridge QB, try to up his value, because right now they're asking for a first. Not going to get a first for Jimmy Garoppolo, given he can't really play a full season, injury in his contract. So I think they're going to have him keep him stay up for a bridge QB, make him have him play up to his value, and then trade him. But I definitely see them QB here. We'll talk right now in a little bit. Who do we think they're going to expect? And the Panthers are still going on QB, so it's going to be interesting with trades. I heard the Falcons are not looking really to trade back far, and I heard the same thing with the Bengals. So what is your quick thoughts on the moves before I bring up our mock drafts?
I was honestly kind of shook by some of them.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins was kind of roller coaster, but the fact they're back in that spot, now they got the 6th pick, I think they should have kept that 3rd. Honestly, I think they should have kept the 3rd just because there's players right now they could use. Like they could use a great tackle. And yes, 6th pick, maybe they'll be there. Or like Kyle Pitts. I don't know how quick he's going to get drafted. He's probably the best person in this draft.
I don't know about the best.
I think he's one of the best.
That's one of the best wideouts.
Besides Trevor Lawrence, I feel like he's one of the best in this draft. Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
I could see him. There's so many teams. Like I could even see him going to the Jets. If they decide to keep Sam Darnold, I could see them taking Kyle Pitts to help out. But if they decide to move on, I see the quarterback. So it's kind of a toss-up right there. So if you're the Dolphins, I'm kind of confused on what they did. But maybe they know something that we don't know. I'm sure about that. So I guess we're going to see on that.
I think it's genius because you got two more first-round picks for the future. Obviously, you give one to trade up. But then you're still in a spot where you can get – I think they're going to target that guy because they trust Tua, right? And Tua showed some good things last season. I am actually a fan of Tua. I'm a believer in Tua, especially that Kansas City game. I think he definitely showed out. My thing is, so I think what they're targeting is a wideout. you have a lot of options. So say if Pitts goes, you still got Devontae Smith. You still got Waddle. You still maybe Chase. Like, I think 6 is the perfect spot. It's not too far. And it's not too close. And it's given, I think, within the first 5 picks, I think 3 quarterbacks are going to go. So I think they're definitely going to at least get one of the guys. So I want to start off with your mock draft here. This is Sam's first round mock draft. Now, this is the first 7 picks. Can you explain to me? Obviously, the Jaguars is giving Trevor Lance. The Jets, you believe the rumors that they're going with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about Justin Fields and why do you think he's going to the San Francisco 49ers?
I feel like he's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. And people are saying the Mac Jones in that spot, he would fit that system. But I feel like with Justin Fields, if you pass on him, it's stupid. You don't want to be another Pat Mahomes situation where you let that man drop to like 15 and you're all passing over him, drafting Mitchell Trubisky. You know what I mean? Like he's proven it. He beat that Clemson team. Yes, he lost to Alabama, but he lost to that stacked Alabama defense.
Yeah.
You saw what he put against Clemson. Like he didn't lose to Mac Jones. He lost to that defense.
Yeah, and I will say this. Look, the whole Ohio State thing, I think that's overblown because they have not had a top 5 QB in a draft since 2000. 2000 only had one. Since 2000, only had one first round QB, and that's Haskins. And he had more question marks than Fields coming in, and he wasn't a top 5 talent. So I think that with Fields, he's more of a sure thing, and I think definitely he has the arm strength, he has accuracy, he has the mobile ability. It's just that the questions about can he handle when he's under pressure. Is he going to be the same QB? But he's facing top defenses as well.
Yeah.
People have to remember that. And he did pretty good against Klinsman. Now, I just don't know about – I'm going to bring it up on my thing. I'm just not sure the 49ers see it the same way. But tell me about the rest. So you got you think Patrick Surtain is going to go that high?
I think so because he's the best cornerback in this draft.
Yeah.
And the Falcons need a cornerback. They need defense.
Yeah, they do.
He's the best defensive person right there. They don't need Micah Parsons. I see Patrick Surtain being that guy over there to help out.
So I don't know if you knew that PFF lets you do trades in this thing. So do you think that would be a trade spot? Do you think they would trade back to get him, or do you think they have to take him here?
I think they have to take him here because I don't see them trading back because there's so many question marks in this draft. You see all these different mock drafts where Patrick Surtain's going to so many different teams. Okay. So I feel like you don't want to risk that. Exactly.
I think though, but especially with the QB hungry, all the QB hungry teams, I think that if they go looking for Surtains, I think they can trade back a little bit and get someone, even if it's for the if it's with the Carolina Panthers, for example. That's only at number 8. You can still get your guy. All right, so now you have Devontae Smith, not Chase, not Burrows. Explain that to me.
Because I just feel like it's a better fit over there. I feel like Devontae Smith, Mr. Heisman, he's showing it. He's shown so much at the size he's at too. As much as people are saying Jamar Chase is number 1 wide receiver in the draft, it's Devontae Smith.
He had a great pro day. I think that's why people are blowing up the pro day. But on film, I like what I see from Smith. I think Smith is the best wide receiver too.
And he uses everything he has. His body's not the biggest. You've seen him, but he uses everything. We talked to the coach, and he was saying like that man knows what he's doing. He has great body control. He has great catching ability. And yeah, Jamar Chase is great, but he's not Devontae Smith. The man won a Heisman. When's the last time a wide receiver won the Heisman? It's usually quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I think it's also like he just knows he's a great route runner. He's a complete wide receiver, and that's what I really like about him. Now, what about your next pick?
So Dolphins need a tackle. They need to protect Tua in there. And I think this is a great pickup for them.
So you don't think they go wide receiver or tight end?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't think they go.
I
was thinking Kyle Pitts. But I feel like they need a tackle more than anything right now because they have no line really. They really don't have a line. So why not start building that up? And Tua's young still, where you can develop that, build that line up for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So get them there and give Tua the help he needs if you're going to keep him as your guy.
My argument against that though, this is actually a kind of good tackle draft, and I get that. I mean, they have good wide receivers. Not like they have bad weapons. I mean, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller. Now you have Will Fuller and you have Williams there, who had when he plays he shows potential. And then you have tight end Mike. I can know it's Getsky. We could do like a whole type of video.
Jasetsky.
Okay. Who saw flashes last season? So they don't have. This is not a bad pick. He is the best tackle in the draft. It's just is this who they really holding on to? Is this why they won't go out of 6? Is the question. Now 7, you think Parsons is going to go? You don't think his stock's going to drop given what happened? No? Okay.
I don't think so. I was debating Jamar Chase here as well because they want to give Jared Goff some weapons,
Mhm.
but I feel like they're not going to keep Jared Goff for the future. And so focus on that defense right now because they franchise tagged their guy. I think it's time to build that defense up because that's where they've been lacking. They've had offense past years, right?
Yeah.
It's just that defense can't stop anyone. So why not draft Micah Parsons?
Okay. Now, but the thing is with them, I feel like their problem is more in secondary, and I feel like given all they lost that wide receivers, I feel like that's a bigger need. They just need everything. They need everything.
Yeah, they do.
All right, so here's my first picks. I had Trevor Lawrence going for Zach Wilson. I do have Mac Jones. Now let me explain this. I was not thinking about Justin Fields because the rumors is Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones, right? He actually kind of reminds everyone of Matt Ryan, who was Kyle Shanahan's former quarterback when he was with Atlanta. And he also has, that Sabine connection as big as Kyle Shanahan. So I haven't gone with number 3, even though personnel, I guess it's been rumors that 49ers personnel is pushing for Lance, but Kyle Shanahan loves the guy. I do think if they do this, it was stupid of them to move up. I get that maybe they're scared because Atlanta Falcons need a QB of the future, and Mac Jones is similar to Matt Ryan. But I think that you could have kept your spot and probably got him there. Or you could have, if you're going to trade up, go for a better QB. I do think I like Mac Jones. I think he is the more sure thing, has a low bust potential. But I think his ceiling is lower of Justin Fields, of Trey Lance, of who else you would put there? I would say
Kyle Trask.
I think Mac Jones is better than Trask, but I don't think Zach Wilson's falling. I think he's going number 2. But I think Fields and Lance have a higher ceiling than Jones, but lower. I think he has a lower bust potential than Lance. So I would say that. But I think that's their guy. I think Kyle Shanahan gets his guy because they feel for what Atlanta does. Atlanta, I think they're going to go – their coach, I believe, is former tight end position coach. So I think they have they want more wideouts. So they still want to win now. According to the GM, they don't want to do anything that's going to hurt them for the future. They're still looking to win now. I don't think they're going to go QB. I think if they're going to adjust that, maybe they're going to draft in the future, or maybe a second round. I think they're going to try to focus on win now, and they're going to get the best wideout or best target where they feel in the draft. They already have Julio, they have Calvin Ridley, so they don't really need a wide receiver. But if they get the 2 wide tight end set up, that can be kind of scary with Hayden Hurst and Pitts on the other side.
Yeah, that'll.
Pairing Chase up back with Burrow. There's been rumors, even though the Bengals deny it, that Joe Burrow is pushing for Chase. Bengals have looked at Chase. They like what they see. It's going to be a question of what's more important, offensive line or wide receiver. They have lost A.J. Green. They don't really have a top guy. They got Tyler Boyd, but I think Chase is a better wideout. And I always feel like they can go – they have just a deep tackle depth. I think they have an early second-round pick. They can go tackle there. And then I have Devontae Smith. Miami, what's going on is that they're looking for a wideout. They're looking for a wide receiver or a tight end. And now it's going to be Pitts or Smith to me, and Smith is there. Pair him up back with Tua. I feel like he's the best wide on the draft. Even though Smith, it might be kind of awkward because he said he'd rather have Mac Jones than Tua. I still think he'll be great on that Miami roster. And then I think the Detroit Lions need a wide receiver, given they lost Kenny Golladay, and they don't really have nobody else. I think Waddle would be a great fit for them. And I think that's where it goes boom, boom, boom. Well, boom, 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 boom for all the wide receivers and tight and wideouts gone in the first round. So let's go to part 2 of yours. All right, so you finally have Kyle Pitts going to the Panthers. You don't have them going for a future QB. Explain that.
No. I feel like they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Kyle Pitts, I have him this low. You have to take him. And they're in need of a tight end. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's a tight end you can build your franchise around.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's other quarterbacks they can get later in the draft, such as Trey Lance and them. I feel like they need to do this now because once Kyle Pitts is gone, there's no other tight end like him in the draft.
Yeah.
There's no other one. And then my Broncos, I have a stake in Mac Jones.
Are you a Mac Jones fan?
No, we need a quarterback.
Okay.
I'm sick of Drew Lock. I trust Mac Jones more than Trey Lance and them and Kyle Trask. Okay. And we have Jerry Jeudy. So, the Alabama connection there. Yeah, I'm hoping that'd work out. I'm hoping Mac Jones drops that far. It's kind of a stretch. But I think that'd be a great pickup.
Mac Jones will hit. I think if San Francisco doesn't get him, no one else is going to touch him that early. But let me find out you're a secret Mac Jones fan. Like like I said, I'm a fan of him. I would take him. I'll have a number 3. I'll have him over Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance bust potential scares me. But Mac, I think I think you saw Drew Lock too short. I get that. Fans don't buy in too much, right? But his first season, he saw potential. Last season it was off season and it was a lot of injuries. So now with another year, guys get healthy. I said, give him what you got. I don't think it's that much of a pressing need to get in the first round. I think you guys would probably go offensive line. But then you have go ahead. Sorry.
I just think he needs to light a fire under him. He has no competition over there. He's for sure the number 1 guy, Drew Lock on the Broncos. There's no one competing against him. So I feel like if Mac's there, you take Mac.
I get the Cowboys. They obviously need a cornerback forever. So one thing I do want to ask is you have the Giants who just got Kenny Golladay get Chase, and you have the Eagles who drafted Rager last season wide receiver in the first round. Still go for wide receiver here. Can you explain that a little bit before I go to my pick?
I feel like Daniel Jones, it's time. Give him weapons. You add Kenny Golladay, great. Give him another one. So Kenny Golladay is not the main guy. They're not all focusing on him.
So you trust Daniel Jones more than you trust Drew Lock?
I'm just saying give him weapons. Drew Lock has weapons.
Okay.
He has Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Daniel Jones really hasn't had anyone. So now you got Kenny Golladay. Take Jamar Chase over there. And then Jalen Waddle, give Jalen Hurts some help. Help that man out. Give him some weapons. You want him to be the number 1 guy? Get it going. Give him some help.
Okay. I think that the Eagles picks I agree with. All right, so I show you mine here. If I figure it out, I should label this better. Okay. So I have the Panthers are gonna. It's pretty known they're pushing to go for the future QB. I don't think they're gonna get Wilson or Watson this offseason. So I think they're gonna have to go to the draft, and that seems like the biggest like worry about. So I think it's gonna be Trey Lance. I think they believe they still have Teddy Bridgewater under contract.
Yep, they do.
So he could be a rich QB, and they had a QB for the future. It could be, like I said, it's a high ceiling, but also high bust potential there. So we'll see how that goes. I have Swill dropping. I've been dropping number 9 because the wideouts go. I think that the Broncos answer the questions at cornerback and free agency. What they could do now is protect Drew Lock if they really want to see what he has for 1 more year. And it sounds like they kind of still want to see what Drew Lock got in him. And if they want another quarterback, they can always look at the second round or in free agency. But I have them going offensive line because I think that's the biggest need. Obviously, Cowboys need a secondary. Let's see if they finally address it. Patrick Surtain, I think that's top back, most ready cornerback in the draft. Then I have the Patriots trading up and getting Justin Fields. I'll be happy. I think this is kind of scary. Like, it's gonna depend on what Panthers do, right? Yeah. Trade Justin Fields or Trey Lance. There's rumors out there that they're leaning towards Lance. They like what they see from Lance. And I don't know why Fields' stock is dropping after a great pro day. But if the Patriots get Justin Fields here, I think they're winning the draft because I feel like Justin Fields is probably going to be one of the, if not the best quarterback from this draft class. But I have them trading. I believe I had them trading I think it's going to take 2 first-round picks. This first-round pick and a future round first pick and a third-round pick to get up this to move up 4 spots. They're going to draft the Eagles just in case the Eagles do change their mind about the QB. Then I had the Eagles getting Parsons. I think he does slip a little bit because of his off-field questions, but he's still a really talented player. They could use a linebacker, someone to shore up the middle of the defense. And then I had the Chargers getting Slater. They could have questions at cornerback and offensive line, but what's good about him is he can play inside and out. Right. So real quick, I'll touch on yours real quick. So you have Trey Lance going to the Patriots.
Yeah. They're going to draft a quarterback, I feel. It'll happen. Give someone backup for Cam.
And then you also have the Bears bringing in maybe Allen Robinson replacement?
Yeah, they need someone. Allen Robinson's gone. They need someone now.
The only thing I don't agree with here with Washington football team, Elijah Moore. I think for them bringing Curtis Samuel, I think they're going to go for QB in the future because Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to be the QB future for Washington football team. I
was just thinking because they have the other guy, too, that showed out against the Chiefs. They're going to have him in.
Game.
Yeah, but him and – I'm not saying he's going to be great, but they're going to have him and Fitzgerald battle it out. I don't see them bringing in another quarterback right now.
Fair. I think that they don't think they think he's the future, especially with Fitzpatrick going. I think if they draft someone now, especially if Trask or maybe Mac Jones slips that far, I think I see them taking it. All right, so I'll go to my part 3. I have Jason Horn trying to replace Patrick Peterson. I have the Miami Dolphins addressing the tackle issues with the second pick because I feel like it's the deep draft. And I have Colts, even though they got Hilton back, I think they still need wide receiver. Same thing with the Titans, who lost Corey Davis and other wideouts in free agency. And obviously, I don't think Allen Robinson's not happy. But the Bears, they didn't want to be franchised. They franchise tagged him. They named Andy Dalton a starter of all things. The man needs a good QB, and you name Andy Dalton a starter. So I don't think he's going to be in Chicago long, especially not after the season if he does stay the season. So we need a wide receiver for a future.
Yeah.
Right. And lastly, to wrap this up, so you have the Ravens instead of going wide receiver. You have them going offensive line. Okay.
Yeah. To protect Lamar because they just got Sammy Watkins. I don't see him really going that wide receiver. They got to protect Lamar.
Any tough decisions here for you, or anything that sticks out to you with these picks?
I think it kind of sticks out to me. The only one I was tough on is the Titans. I knew I needed a wide receiver, but I feel like with everyone I have drafted, Terrence Marshall is going to be the best one left over.
Yeah, and I think if he doesn't go to the Titans, I think he might go to the Ravens, who also need a wide receiver. I think a lot of wide receivers will go in the first round for sure. All right, and my last part. I feel like I have to get so close. My eye vision is awful. All right. So, no.
One more.
There
we
okay.
go.
All right. So then some things for me. I think the Jets, instead of going for a wide receiver, they got Corey Davis in free agency, offensive line. They shore up that secondary again with one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. I think that the Steelers hold off again a QB for the future. I think the tackle is more important need. And then the Browns go defense. Then you have a lot of defensive questions. Same thing with the Jaguars. They try to rebuild that secondary. And the Packers finally go wide receiver a year later in the first round. And more, I think a lot of wide receivers go in the first round. All right. And to wrap it up, this is how you end it. So you don't think the Packers will go wide receiver?
No, I don't.
Okay. So yeah, another year, I guess, of piss Aaron Rodgers. Not bad for them. And then Buccaneers. I'm confused with what the Buccaneers should do because it seems like they really had no holes.
No, I just figured you never need enough. You never have enough tackles.
I'll say they did go tackle last offseason. So I actually went with something else if I can even find it. Oh yeah, I went with the cornerback because their cornerback to me, even though they have a solid secondary, even though it's not really weak, that is the weakest point of their defense. So I think if they can shore up with the spot there, and I have the Kansas City getting a linebacker.
Yeah,
because they need
Nick Bolton. Well. He was one of my underrated picks this draft. The article I wrote. He was one of my underrated guys.
So share about that. What do you like? What sticks out to you about him?
Just his game in general. He plays aggressive. Mm-hmm. Like he needs help in the coverage still, yes, but he's a rush linebacker first. Pass rusher, run stuffer. That's it. That's all they need, the Chiefs. They really need that.
Absolutely. So we're going to cut it short because I have to go do the camera for UMass game. I want to thank our viewers for tuning in. Let us know what you think about our picks for NFL mock draft. We will do something before the NFL draft and probably do a recap after the NFL draft again. So let us know what your thoughts. Also, who you think are the NBA winners or losers. And also, any advice, if you want any advice about podcasting, just put in the comments below. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Until I get this thingy every single time.
Every time.